Namaste, Clemice ji.
Namaste.
So, I would love to listen you first. And you have written a very nice book, The Pathless Land. Would you like to throw some light on your book and this statement of Krishna ji, the pathless land? What does it mean, the pathless land, and how is it? How one see this statement? Who is in search or in quest of self-knowing? So I would love to listen you. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, see, the book Pathless Land that I published in 2022 in India, um, it basically it is about self-knowledge. Um, so uh, the book has many chapters, and the last chapter is called Pathless Land. So that's why I gave the book that name. But in fact, the book is very much about self knowledge. So when Krishnamurti says truth is a pathless land, uh, most of us have difficulty to relate to that because we are used to imagine that we will reach um, enlightenment or clarity or liberation, whatever name we may give, through a certain path. You know, it has been the tradition that people follow a certain path, follow a certain um, number of rituals and things, and then we believe that at certain point, following this prescribed um, path, we will reach somewhere. But when Krishnamurti says that truth is a pathless land, he is talking from the point of view uh, that to come to truth, um, if you follow, you will come to what you are looking for. And when you are looking for something that you already know what you are looking for, so it is not truth, right? It is something that you already imagine to be truth. So, according to Krishnamurti, he does not elaborate much about this statement. Normally, he will just plainly say, "Truth is a pathless land. You cannot come to it by any religion, sect, or something like that." So, after much pondering and reading a lot of Krishnamurti, it becomes quite interestingly clear that the following cannot really lead to truth. And to me, it was very interesting when I heard Krishnamurti saying that truth is something that is in every moment. Because that's another thing that we think that truth is a pre-established thing. It is something that you need to grasp, and once you grasp it, that's it. You got truth in your hands and you can hold it and you have it. But it doesn't work like that. So truth is something you have to discover every moment. You have to see every moment. So there is truth in everything, in every moment of life, and it is not always the same. It cannot be, because life is changes, and we change, and so uh, that's another thing that Krishnamurti always says, no, that something that is fixed, that you can have a path through. But something that is moving, changing all the time, you cannot have. Because how can you fix a path to something that is moving and changing place, and so it's not possible really.
So there is another part of this scene that who is going to perceive the truth in each and every moment? Is that is the fixed entity which is going to perceive in which is the same, which is constant, and which is going to perceive each and every time new. Is it like that?
No, see, we have this idea also about ourselves first. No, we have this feeling that we don't change. We are always the same person. When we think about ourselves, that's how we feel about ourselves. That I am the same person all the time, which is not really true. Also, right? Our moods change, our emotions change, our way of thinking change. So we are also not the same all the time. So this idea that there is something fixed that doesn't move in us, it's an old idea that we carry through life. It is said that there is something in us that doesn't change, but I'm not so sure we are in touch with that.
Mm.
So this unchangeable state, I don't think it can be explained, uh, and I don't think it is also something that is fixed. I think, to me it sounds more like it is stable. I mean, we have these ups and downs of emotions, of moods, and all these things. So the person, the realized person, does not have these ups and downs. It's more stable. So that's my feeling. And then this idea that there is a fixed entity that will perceive truth. Uh, that I don't think it is like that, because uh, that's why self knowledge is so important, because as long as you don't understand your own ways of operating, I mean the mind and the way of thinking, the emotions and all that, unless you understand all of that and you really have some clarity about it. um, and Krishnamurti even goes further. He says we need insight, to have this perception. So until we have that, I think it's very difficult for us to understand that there is no fixed entity.
So there are two things in front of us, that truth is not a fixed thing, and the one who is going to perceive itself is not a fixed entity. It is
Hmm.
also changing. And again, one more thing came in picture called insight. What is insight? Is it have something to do with the me, or insight is entirely different from uh, the thing called me? And what do you mean by stableness? As you said, that the realized person ha- has a stableness, something you used
Yeah,
word.
he's more stable in his emotions and in his. The mind does not go up and down like we go. Uh,
Hmm.
one moment we are angry, the next moment we are happy, and like that. So that variation uh, is not uh, there.
Yeah.
So they go with the stable. I mean, it is not so much up and down.
So, what is that thing called stability, which as a uh, realized being, one perceives that thing called stability, and what is the insight. Is these two things have anything to do with the me, or it is something beyond me, or nothing to do with the me?
Yeah, see, when you say something beyond the me, that already gives the idea that the me is real, right? To go beyond it. But the me is a false impression that the mind uh, has about himself, about the movement that happens in the mind. So that the movement of the thinking process creates this false impression of a fixed entity that we call me, that we identify with. So, there is nothing to go beyond, in fact, because
Yeah,
that's not real.
it's
So,
just a mistake of language. Let us forget about going to beyond it. You pointed a very important factor. Let us put it another way, like uh, what is that thing called insight or stability, which is not of the mind?
mm, insight, Krishnamurti says that insight is a very important. In fact, is the key for clarity. You cannot see many of us who read a lot and either Krishnamurti or any other spiritual teaching, um, sometimes there is the impression that by reading a lot and by practicing a lot, we will achieve enlightenment or clarity. But um, that's not the case. Krishnamurti says, makes it very clear that the factor that will bring clarity is insight. And then he also says that insight cannot be, you cannot invite it, you cannot expect it, you don't know when it will happen. So insight is like a lightning in a stormy night when it is raining. So that lightning, it clears everything for a second. So the insight is more or less like that. It gives a flash of clarity, and the whole thing on which you have insight then becomes clear.
So, as a me, which is the just product of thought, me,
Uh-huh. Uh,
and I feel that sorrow, confusion, uncertainty, everything as a human being, human being, I face and I feel, and is organically some quest comes that what is the real? Is there something which is uh, which is truth, which we can call truth? Our relations patterns are false, our images are false, our ambitions are false, our motives are false, one understands. And also one understands that this thing called me is also false, and what as a me I perceive as a truth, it is also false. Being me, being I, whatever I perceive is also may not be the truth. Then and I listen you or Krishna ji, the you guys say that through the insight in life some light can come, that life itself can uh, remove the all confusion and darkness from this so-called living of me. Even it can wipe out called the thing me. So the question comes, how that life, how that insight can take place. Do I have to be in a certain mode, in certain state of mind, and or as you said, it is unconditional. So, what is role of me? Is there any role, or I don't have any role
You mean in the insight factor?
to come inside?
Oh
Inside.
no, it comes. We don't know. It's like Krishnamurti says. It's like the wind, the breeze. You may leave the window open, but you don't know when the wind will blow. So there is no way we can know when insight will happen. It happens at any moment and um, very unexpectedly. So
So I
there
can.
is no way that we can predict the insight or prepare the ground for insight.
So there is nothing called preparation of insight.
No,
Okay. So where are we now?
we are well. See, that's one of the things, we like to have control and we like to know when we can. We like to establish the path, to say we do this, we do that, and we prepare the ground and we do some preparation, and insight may happen, or enlightenment may happen, or clarity may come. So in this field, there is no way one can do that. The only thing that we can do is uh, observe our own self. But that is no guarantee that by observing oneself you will have insight.
Hmm. So we can just observe one ourselves, but that is not the guarantee of coming insight, right?
No, that may help, but that's not the the key factor. Because this observation is not only about observing oneself; it's about observing in a it's attention. It's a state of attention to everything, not only to ourselves, but to what happens around us, what happens with people, with nature, with anything. So it's a kind of full attention to what goes on in and around us.
So then question may come that if I cannot do anything to let the insight take place in my life, in life, then what is difference between a person who is not observing himself or herself and a person who is observing himself or herself? Then what is the meaning of coming truth in life, or what is this statement called the truth is a pathless land? What is need of it? Because if it is
Is
pathless, then a person who is not doing self observation also can get the truth, and the person who is uh, constantly in self observation, even may he or she may not be able to perceive the truth because it's causeless, it's pathless.
yeah, yeah, you are right. You see, Krishnamurti even says, "Don't seek, don't seek truth, because truth doesn't come to the seeker."
Hmm.
So it is. He brings a completely different um, view to this whole idea of spiritual path.
Hmm.
So uh, to this question that you had, there is an interesting story. Once, when I was before coming to India, I had a friend in Brazil, and we used to read Krishnamurti together. So every Sunday we will gather under some trees near home and sit there and read, and we spend the whole afternoon like that. So one Sunday when I came, he said to me, "You know what? I got it." I said, "Oh, wow. So tell me, what is it?" And he said, "You know, there is nothing to do. There is only just live. We just have to live." Then I felt there is something that's not quite all right with this statement, because but I could also not tell what is it that is wrong with it. So we went to sit under the trees, and nearby there was, in Brazil there are many bars. People uh, take drinks and all these things, no? So we sat there, and I saw these people in the bar, and I told him, "See, those people in the bar, they are just living. They don't think about anything. They are not worried about, they have no philosophical question. They don't care for this. They just want to enjoy and live. So what is the difference between those that living and this living that you are saying, that it is just to live?" That the difference is precisely this, because for you to come, for you to understand, you really, there has to be some uncomfortable feeling about the state of things in life, some unhappiness, some, not unhappiness, but some discomfort have to be there. You have to feel that there has to be something else. This cannot be all right. So it means the person has to have some sensibility towards life, and feel that all this suffering that we go through, there has to be another way to live.
Yeah, I can relate it with your statement that there are a lot of things are in our life which are there only because we are not observant, we are not
Mm.
aware, even psychologically we are not aware about them. And if one is self observant, one can easily resolve them just by being aware. In life there may not truth, that things called truth in quotes, take place, but the discomfort may resolve. So there is a great difference between those people who are in discomfort because of non-observant way of living, and the people who is observant, just understanding the limits of thought, the area of thought, and by observing them one can be free from the discomfort. Are you saying like this or something else?
See, I think it is more than this. You see, there is a story that Professor Krishna, who lived with Krishnamurti for some time, he said that Krishnamurti told him once that Annie Besant, whom Krishnamurti used to call Amma, uh, when Krishnamurti started to deliver the teachings, she was already in her 80s. And Krishnamurti told Professor Krishna, he says, if Amma was younger when I started to give the teachings, she would have got it. And he told Professor Krishna, you know why? Because you have no idea about her capacity for love. So here he's saying something very interesting. The capacity for love is the key.
Capacity of for
Love, love,
love. Okay.
love. Yeah. You see, we may think that the spiritual teachings will be understood by the mind, by reading, by knowledge, by all these things. But it is not the mind who can grasp these teachings, it is the heart.
mm,
So these teachings, they come through the heart. So if you have a closed heart, if you are not able to feel the pain of others, if you are not sensitive, you won't be able to see the reality. Because
mm.
to see reality, to see truth, requires a lot of sensitivity. The person has to be sensitive and really has to be capable of love.
Yeah.
So this is something, you see. Shirdi Sai Baba, for instance, there are many stories about his, how sensitive, how sensible of a person he was. There is a story that he was having lunch, and one dog far away, he was not even seeing the dog, but there was a dog starving, and he could not eat because he sensed, he felt the pain, the suffering of that dog. So every person that we learn, that has come to truth, if you see the person's capacity for love, there are many stories. So that is a key thing.
But that thing just uh, opens another kind of door that may lead to some illogical or some beyond logic kind of things. Eh, Sensing the things, and one's mind is so overloaded, one just project the things. A lot of sadhus of India, they project the things, and they say that they have insight, they have some sensibility, and they are doing like that. So I want to put it in another way. What is difference between the point of view and insight? Like this is a statement that truth is a pathless land, and through like Krishna ji said that through the mind you cannot come to the truth,
Mm,
and through any path, and mind always creates the path, you cannot come to the truth.
mm.
One can, how one receives this statement, as a point of view, or something not as a point of view. Do you see any difference between the point of view and insight?
Yeah, there is a humongous difference. Point of view is a kind of conclusion that we come to. Insight has nothing to do with, it's a direct perception.
Hmm.
So the point of view is something that comes from the mind, that comes from reasoning, that comes from knowledge, really.
Hmm.
But insight, it's completely different. It's something that suddenly it becomes completely clear.
Huh. So, by listening this statement that truth is a pathless land, what is that thing called point of view, and what is that thing called insight? In listening this statement, like
I
if I
don't.
listen,
Tell me.
if I listen that truth is a pathless land. So, and after observing and having dialogue and listening what Krishna ji said, and talking with friends like you, we understood that what is the meaning of path, the
Mm,
way mind creates, that is the path, and
mhm,
the thing mind projects called truth, and the thing called me, which mind all the time is spinning. So we understood this, and when we perceive that statement called truth is a pathless land, Then, if there is an insight, immediately everything ceased. By listening only this statement, it may cease. And if I am listening it with a point of view, then I will uh, try to understand with the same agency called mind to understand this statement, what is the meaning of pathless land. Eh, there are a lot of lands where is path, and this is some another land which is pathless land. I may project something in my mind. There is something called pathless land. In spite of, if there is a just listening, immediately whole whole field of mind ceases. Would you like to throw some light on this matter? Difference between the point of view and insight?
See, the point of view. This is a very difficult thing because you see, when we listen only with the mind,
Hmm.
you know, we will have point of view, but we may think it's an insight.
Hmm.
Especially if you never had one insight, you don't know the real thing. So we may think, oh, I'm having insight, and we are only having conclusions and you know
Point of.
yeah, point of views, like these eureka moments that people say, no. So the thing comes from the mind itself, but because we don't know the difference, we don't know how to make what's the difference. So I think, first of all, when we listen to something like this kind of statement, "Truth is a pathless land," the it's important that we just listen without trying to understand it immediately. Leave it without knowing that we cannot understand it. So don't even try to understand. Don't even try to project anything. Just leave it open and let it be. We don't have to understand everything all the time.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's important to leave it without understanding, really, knowing that I don't understand.
Yeah, I understand this. Like, I can put it another way. Like, one day we were talking, that we were in a dialogue. There, this statement came that all the time we are facing a living commentary inside us.
Mm,
So the someone put there a question: is it possible to live without this running commentary inside? So
mm,
someone said that by listening this statement, I can go with this statement with a another country commentary. What is
mm,
that living which is free from the running commentary? I am thinking, I am trying to find out, and in thinking and in finding out, running commentary also is going on. It continues. So this is the one way, and by listening, what is that living which is free from the running commentary? This question itself just throws some impact in whole field of my mind, and my mind just perceives in insight in whole field of mind, and it just stops. That what is that living which is free from the running commentary? One cannot go by running commentary, by this thing called running commentary, to explore the thing which is free from the running commentary. With running commentary, one cannot explore the thing called free from the running commentary. So one can have immediately insight into this whole field, and one can be a point of view to find out what is the living which is free from the running commentary. Is it possible to put this?
yeah, see, I think in this case, the the the, the approach is not about explore what it means to live free from running commentary, but maybe to observe how this running commentary is running all the time. Because we cannot define something, as you just now said, with the mind that is active all the time. Try to understand the mind that is not active. But
But the
we
running
can,
commentary
with
is
this mind
going
that
on.
is active all the time, we can try to understand this mind itself.
Yes. So, if running commentary is going on, then where is the exploration?
Explore into the running commentary.
In running commentary, or the possibility of freeing, possibility
No,
of living, which
forget,
is nothing to do with running commentary.
forget about that possibility, because it may or may not be possible.
Yes.
So that's not the point. The point is, I am having this kind of mind. That's what's going on. So to
Hmm.
be aware of that, to understand it, and not try to understand something that I cannot really, because with this kind of mind, it's not possible.
So I cannot understand that field of that field which is free from the running commentary. But exploration, is it possible that exploration might take place there, which I am not exploring, but exploration itself?
Yeah, you see, for that, it again, for me to say I am not exploring, just exploration going on. First of all, this cannot be there,
I cannot
right?
be there,
Yeah.
but but
So
I have
otherwise,
understood the limit.
otherwise I'm fooling myself if I say I am not observing. Only observation is going on, but I am there. So not that's not how it is. So
That is the false
see,
statement.
yeah, that's a way to fool ourselves, and
Yes.
make us believe that we have done a big step when we have not even moved from the place. So
Yeah.
the important thing is not about the end result. The important thing is the process itself, what's going on right
Yeah.
now in my mind. So my
Yeah.
mind is confused, is full of conclusions and all that. So to watch it, to be aware of it, because most of the time we are not aware of goes on inside us. We are
It
not
is
aware that we are criticizing. We are not aware that we are judging. We are not aware. We justify all these things, give it a nice name, and that's it.
there is a one more thing we can look at by if one is digging a well,
Mm.
then is it just removing the mud, or it is just the making a space there? What is that important?
No, you are
In
comparing
digging a
digging
well,
a well with.
what is important, that making a space there, or removing the mud?
Yeah, I don't know so much about digging well, but I think you have to take away the mud, no?
Yeah, but there is a one problem also. In digging the mud, all the time you dig and throw the mud there only. You dig and throw the mud there only. You will never be succeeded by doing this to make a well.
I know, but you see, when we talk
It is,
about,
it is both important, digging the well and removing the mud from there. So one have to be insight in that, that only digging the well, sorry, only the digging the mud is not important. That mud also have to be removed, or in mind case it have to disappear. That insight is not there. All the time we, as you said, all the time people are just watching the thought. They say that I can just watch myself. Both is important, is it not?
But you cannot really take away the mud from your mind. That's you cannot do it. It's not about doing it. You cannot. That's the difficulty in this whole thing, because that again is the activity of the mind only, you know. So it is like Ramana Maharshi, he said it beautifully. He says it is like the police, the thief appoints himself as a police, and now he will do the investigation. But there will be a lot of investigation, but nobody will be arrested because he is the police and the thief at the same time. So it is not for you. It's not about doing. There is no doing in this process. You cannot really do it.
As a thief and police, if there is an understanding that thief and police, the thinker and the thought, it is same,
Hmm.
then is it not that the game of thief and police just disappears?
You see, if you think you can identify the problem and remove the problem, that is the game of the thief and police, because you cannot remove it. You
I
you
didn't.
you need to be only aware of it. Being aware does the job. Awareness will do the job, not you
Awareness
doing it.
to that job, yes, I cannot do, but that
Mm.
awareness, that the understanding the nature of me as an observer and the thing I observe, just understanding this whole process might remove these things, this whole process of thought.
May or may not, because that's also not enough, because you really need insight for it.
Yes.
So that awareness alone will not do.
Yeah, so uh, uh, what we can do? Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. That is the problem.
One moment. Eh, Sorry, someone was ringing the bell.
Okay. So
So,
see, the
hmm,
mind is used to do things. It wants to do something, and in this process there is nothing we can do.
what is this statement that we can do nothing? Is it thought or it is insight?
No, if you observe the whole thing, it's not about the thought saying that.
It's not thought. In the same way, this can happen. That if this is not thought, that I can do nothing, this also applies there. That if one sees I am as observer and the thing I am observing inside my mind, it is same. It is not a action of me or understanding of thinking. It may insight there.
Yeah, you see, this whole thing about the observer being the observed, it is a very complex thing. It is not so easy to grasp it.
So these things is also Clemice is very complicated thing that I cannot do anything. This is
I know
also very
people
complex.
people have been trying to do, but nothing happens.
A lot of people say that I cannot do anything, but all the time we do. We do many things. That statements never stops our life uh, uh, to do things. That
Yeah, but there is a
understanding.
I know,
Mhm.
but there is a difference when you do something because it needs to be done, and when you do something because you hope with that thing that you are doing you will get something.
Yeah,
The intention is the difference, you know.
Yes, intention is different, but that also can be defined like that. I don't know what is there, but I understand what I am now. I understand what I am now, and I understand that what I am now, it may be false. And if I go through this, I understand that I am false. What I am perceiving, it is false. What I may perceive, it may false. So in this understanding, I am not getting anything, but I am dissolving.
Mm.
In that dissolving something taking place, it I don't know what is that. I need not to know what is that.
Yeah, right.
So, this statement that truth is pathless land, uh, what is the perceiving of this statement not as a point of view, but really as a insight? That insight which is here in our life actually, not somewhere far away. It is in our uh, discussion dialogue. It may take place.
You see those things you cannot make it visible, you
Make it
know.
visible. Yes,
You cannot.
but
That
in that,
that's not how it works. For instance, let's take Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti was the first one who said that truth's a pathless line. People challenged him all his life about it, and he was not able to make it visible for people to touch it, to see it, to grasp it. That's not how it works. So this work of touching, grasping this statement, it's an individual uh, happening. So, and the person who grasps it uh, cannot say, "Okay, I grasped it." If the moment the person says that, it's already a false statement,
so it
because
we
I
cannot say
cannot
it's individual, but we can say it's pure.
say it
Individual,
again.
we cannot say it's individual. We can say it's pure.
No, it means each one has to grasp it on his own. You know, I cannot grasp it, and because I grasp it, you will grasp it.
Yes, but there is no individuality if one is grasping.
There is no individuality in that moment,
So
but
we can
but there
say that
is.
pure. It's
Yeah,
a first
you
time
can say
like
it.
untouched, untouched by thought. Thought makes things impure, so it's pure. Uh,
Mm.
so, what is this thing called insight, and how, is it possible? We is it possible to drop all point of view to call happen it this thing called insight? All point of view.
I
Even
don't
this,
know.
even if we are listening this, we will again fall in point of view, and we can give the opportunity to insight take place.
You see, this whole problem of insight. It is not. It cannot be predicted. You cannot exchange point of view for insight. You cannot say, I will drop some half a dozen point of view so that I can get one insight. It doesn't work like that. It's not an exchange, you know.
Uh, One moment, Clemis. What does it mean when we say we cannot do this? Is it really a insight, or it is a point of view?
It just, you see, once you understand how this mechanism of point of view works, then it becomes clear. It's not about point of view.
If it is clear, then it's insight. Otherwise, it will be
No,
always
no,
a point
no,
of view.
no, 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 no. If it is clear, it's clear. It's not an insight. You see,
What is it?
no, the insight is not, it's not like that. You will be having insight one after the other, one after the other. It doesn't work like that either. So insight is a mysterious thing.
Insight into the whole field of living, you mean?
Yeah, into the, in any field.
Like, if you have heard that talk with some, I think with David Bohm, he is saying that there is a limited field of science where a scientist get insight.
Mm.
That is a
It's a
limited
partial insight, he says.
partial insight. So, in this statement, that if you are saying anything, it may be a point of view.
Maybe.
Maybe it may be a point of view. Then one is not in a point of view. One got immediately an insight in this statement.
Mm.
Am I making myself clear? If I am holding something, no, this is only true. This is only happens. That insight cannot happen if there is a thinking. Then it can be a point of view. But is it possible to perceive it, this statement, without making another point of view?
You see, all those things about the point of view and uh, real perception. That's a very personal thing, right?
What do you mean
Unless
by personal?
you see, it's like, uh, how do we know that what Krishnamurti was saying came from insight and came from clarity and not from his point of view? How do we know that?
We cannot.
The same thing. We cannot.
And we cannot, if this is a point of view, then we will fall in thought process only.
No,
And but
but you see, no, then okay. Tell me how can we know that anybody? So the problem is not the other person. The problem is always myself. The problem is not about if Krishnamurti had insight, if Krishnamurti had this or that. The
yes,
problem
yes,
is always, do I have insight or am I only running around in circles in my own mind? So that is the real problem for me. Krishnamurti may have had beautiful insights,
yes,
good, fine, but
yes,
I cannot be sure even.
yes. I cannot be sure even that he has insight had or not.
No, there is no way to know unless you see, to know if somebody has clarity, only another person who is also clear can know, but a confused person cannot know.
Yeah, even that we cannot say ki he can know or not. Maybe there is nothing called no, that
You
there is
don't.
no, we cannot
So
say.
so it is not, uh, at the end, the whole thing really comes back to our own self.
Uh, what does we mean? What do we mean by own self, oneself? Is there anything called oneself
See,
really
as
in
long
inside, or is there only a pure thing or impure?
you see, the whole thing is, as long as I don't see, as long as I don't have the clarity that this self is just an illusion, to me it is real. It's an illusion, but I don't know that I'm having, I don't know it's an illusion. I'm, Krishnamurti may say it, other people may say it, but I cannot see it. So for me, it's not reality.
The me.
To me, the me is a reality because I cannot see it's an illusion. So until I can see it, until it becomes really clear to me that this whole idea of me is just an illusion.
Then again, this question comes that I cannot see that I am unreal or real.
You can have insight into it.
Yeah, then that insight has nothing to do with me.
No,
Hmm. So, what is that insight? Again, this question comes.
that's what I told you. There is no way we can define it. We cannot explain it. It's a mysterious thing. It comes. Nobody knows when it will come. You cannot prepare the ground for it to come.
Hmm. How can you say we cannot prepare the ground to it come?
Because that's not how it works.
Because
That's not how it works. Because if you see what is going to prepare the ground, the mind itself will prepare the mind to receive an insight, and then it will be expecting that's not how it works.
but this statement itself is a opportunity to that insight may come.
Huh?
That this statement that
uh,
I cannot do anything
uh,
to insight happen. Can this statement we can say it is a uh, true statement or it's just a understanding.
See, again, there is no way we can we can only we can only go this far. There is no way that we can prove black and white this kind of things. You know, all these
There is a
proofs,
grace.
black and white, comes from the mind only.
So truth is a pathless land. Then it this is a not the last statement. If there is a gray said, then truth is a pathless land cannot be a dark or a white said.
You have to. It has to be a reality for you. It was for him.
Hmm. It was for and for me it is a gray.
Yeah.
Like
So
we are discussing, we are
you
discussing
see,
and
you see, every teaching, any teaching, be it the Buddha, Christ, Krishnamurti, Ramana Maharshi, anyone, they are only guidelines. They
yes.
cannot, they are words, they cannot convey the real thing. The real thing has to be experienced by each one. So they are like a map. You know it exists, but you have to go there. You have to, you want to go to a city, you have to stand up and walk to the city. Be
So what?
sitting reading the map will not take you to the city. So
Yeah.
in the same way, all these teachings, anyone, any statement, they are only guidelines, and until it becomes a reality for you.
Huh. So when I am saying that this is a only guideline, like this statement, truth is a pathless land, it's a guideline for me. How I perceive this as a last statement or as a statement which I have to explore.
You have to explore into it
Then I cannot stick with it that truth is a pathless land. I have to figure it out. It is or it is not.
until it becomes a reality for you.
Yes, until it becomes a reality for me and for um, many that realized person said that there can be path. Kabir said there can be path. So for a person who is in quest, when can we say that if one is not stick with any statement, then one is in exploration.
Yeah.
So when we listen that truth is a pathless land, then this is a statement to explore. We cannot say this is the last statement.
Until it becomes clear to you, no, you cannot say. You should not
Yes.
say. People
Yes.
can say, but they should not.
Otherwise, it is just a conclusion of the mind.
Yeah.
And after going through all this, we can we don't know what statement will come. The statement, uh, we can say that truth is a land with path.
See, we can say anything. People are
Yes.
free to say anything. But I think we should, if we are at all serious in this quest, we should really avoid um, this guessing, you know,
Even guessing for the that truth is the pathless land.
any guessing until
Yes.
it becomes clear, you know.
Hmm. So until it becomes clear for us, we cannot say anything.
We should not, we can say, but we should
We
be
should not.
careful. We should
Yeah,
be
we should
careful.
not. Yeah. Yeah. Suromita ji, do you have any question with Clemice or any person who is here? So is it truth is different for different people? Someone is asking, is it
Hmm.
truth different from each different people?
See, this whole idea that I have my truth, you have your truth, and everything is fine, you know, it's a very tempting idea that people like very much. But
The claim is actually she is asking on that statement that this is very personal, individual.
I
When we
know, I know, I know.
yeah.
But what I'm going to say is that um, we really have to understand this whole concept of what is this truth that people are talking about. It's a fact, you know. I have my illusions, you have your illusions, and that's fine. And we may call these illusions truth. But when it comes to reality, to facts, then there is if there is a chair, it's a chair for me, it's a chair for you, it's a chair, it's a fact.
Yes.
So when it comes to facts, I don't think there is one fact. The same fact will be different for me and for you. When we
And
are capable of seeing facts, because most of us are only seeing our own projections. So we are seeing our own illusion and we say that's truth. So I have a different truth from you. We have different illusions from each other. That's a fact.
so, what is this meaning of a statement? What is the meaning of this statement that learning together, moving together, finding out together? Is
You
there any
see,
common ground?
for us, first of all, moving together. When we say let's move together, first of all, we have to be moving. At least one person has to be moving,
Hmm.
right? Then it makes sense. For instance, when Krishnamurti says let's walk together, he is walking. He can say that, but are we walking? So we also, or when he says let's see together, he sees something, but we are all blind. So when we blind people say let's see together, does that make any sense? Nobody's seeing anything, so how can we see together? So these statements, they only make sense if at least the person who is saying let's sit together, let's walk together. If that person is seeing, if that person is walking, means if that person has clarity. Because
Mm.
means that that person who has clarity now will help you to see the clarity that she is seeing. But
Mm.
if I am not having clarity and I want to tell you about clarity, how can I?
So
So
you
I
are saying, you are saying that the those people who among them, if one have no clarity, they will always be blind.
see we sit together and say let's talk about the statement that Krishnamurti is saying. But nobody understood it. We cannot grasp it. So it will become my opinion against your opinion, and everybody having opinions, and it goes nowhere.
So there is no possibility of moving together if two people wants to just learn.
Yeah, they can if they are open to learn.
What is that common ground where two people can learn together
First of
psychologically?
all, first of all, there have to be openness and the state of not knowing.
Yes, not knowing.
Not knowing, then you can start exploring. But if you have the feeling you already know, then that's not possible. You cannot
Not knowing,
explore because you already know.
yes. Not knowing and not holding what you know. Not
Yeah, I
knowing,
don't know.
yeah, not holding. Otherwise, one just always uh, say that my point is right and your point is wrong.
And not holding what you know. Is there anything to know at all? To carry over. I mean, to tomorrow in this field, psychological field we are talking about.
In exploration, if two people are exploring together, then there is nothing to know, or maybe there is something to know, but one cannot stick that any idea of knowing or not knowing.
Yeah, that's the a basic requirement for exploring.
Yeah.
Otherwise, not possible.
If some realize one is not in exploration, then also can exploration take place, but one have to be open, as you said, open and not stick with their ideas. And one can have dialogue and exploration. Here is a there is a insight that cannot be known by the point of view. This statement is itself a point of view for mind, but for exploration, which take place automatically, it is insight. Is it making sense? This statement, Elvis?
Yeah, there is an insight that cannot be known by the point of view.
Mm,
This see again we will come back to that same thing. To say that this statement, it depends on who is making the statement, and how do we know the state of mind of the person who is saying something. We assume normally what happens is because we assume that the other has the same kind of limitation that I am having. So
mm,
I assume because I cannot see clearly, nobody can. So I think it's not important to think about the state of the mind of the other person. It's always very important to take pay attention to the state of our own mind, and forget about if people are having point of view or insight or whatever they have. My business is really what do I have.
yes. Now the question is, I in quotes is a reality to me, and if anyone is illustrated that it is illusion, that who is that entity? Please clarify it again.
Now the question is, I is a reality to me, and if anyone is illustrated that it is an illusion, then who is that entity? Which entity that he is talking about?
Matlab, he is saying that who is that entity is saying that mm, that I is illustrated.
Oh, see, if to me I feel I is a reality, somebody comes and tells it's not a reality, it's an illusion. If I am open to look at it, I may see the illusion behind. But if I am not, if I'm very comfortable with the idea and I don't want even to look, then it will remain a reality for me, even though it's an illusion. And all the problems that illusions bring will continue in my life.
But she is asking, I think, with a point of view. She is understanding the thing with a point of view, as we discussed here, that a person is coming and he or she is saying that I is a illusion.
Hmm.
Then she is asking, then who is saying this statement that I is a illusion? If you are saying that you have an eye and this eye is an illusion to explore it, so first question comes in my mind that then who are you who is saying that eye is illusion? You are I, and you are saying
No,
that
no,
eye is
we are again coming to the same problem that I just said, that
yeah,
we assume that the other person is in the same state of mind that I am.
yes.
So this question, who are you, does not really come into play. If I am uncomfortable with the kind of things that are happening in my life, the kind of suffering that is happening, and somebody points out that it happens because of the illusions created by this idea of me, then, and I am open to look at it, then there is a possibility. But if I am worried about asking who are you free of illusion, or are you not free of illusion, again we direct our attention to the other person instead of to myself. So
Yes. And as a logic, why it cannot be happen there as a reporting? We report many things. We come from a place and we report about that thing. That the same way we can report about I without having an I. Mind can report things without I. This is
yeah,
also
yeah,
possible.
that's what. See, but when we function fully from this I point of view, we suppose that everybody does work
Yes.
and function in the same way.
Yeah.
So it's an assumption that we make.
Yes. Atulji is asking, is there any channel for Clemice, ma'am? Do you have any YouTube channel, Clemice?
No.
Clemice written a very nice book, and she has a she lived with the Krishnaji teachings and in inner quest since a long time. I think 20 years back she is in this whole field, and she written a book uh, about such self observation and inner exploration. You guys can buy that. Clemis, you can write where they can buy.
It's in Amazon.
It's Amazon. The Pathless Land.
Hmm.
The Pathless
It's
Land.
just pathless land. There is no the.
Okay, Pathless Land.
Hmm.
Everyone has their own opinion, but those opinions are a product of mind if not explored. Yes. Yes, sir. If insight cannot be known, then how can we know that insight is taking place or not?
You will know the moment you have an insight. You will know it's an insight.
Say again, please.
You see, an insight is it's something that changes a lot of things in your mind. So there is no way you will mistake it.
Hmm. So insight is taking place, it cannot be known by the mind. Is it so?
It cannot be known by the mind.
Yes. Suromita, are you here? I think she is not. So, Clemice, can you conclude what we discussed today, what we had dialogue?
Yeah, I think for conclusion, I would say for the people who are seriously interested in this subject of self knowledge, um, it's important to keep in mind that uh, certainties, conclusions, and be sure about things is a the enemy of the process of self knowledge. So it's important to keep always a doubt, even towards our own uh, experiences and towards our own. Um, Sometimes we have some clarity, but even that, don't be so sure about it. Always leave a door open for further investigation, for further observation, and
Yes. Suromita?
So, when we were talking about a common ground, uh, that how are we going to explore together if none of us are realized? I'm saying just a word realized in a sense like Krishnaji, what he used to be. Now, would you know that someone has got the real insight? So, firstly, we can never know that because do we really have that eye to recognize one with the insight? That just one question came to me that when three people are sitting together and getting into a common ground of exploration, and to also know that this is not possible, it is not possible to know it, is also something with that we cannot start a conversation, we cannot get into an exploration. So that is also there at the same time. Do we have the eye to know of someone who has got an insight? So, does that mean that the common ground cannot be found at all?
you see, I think this common ground that we talk about, if if it is some intellectual thing that we wish to come to a common ground, then I don't think it is possible. But if we really care for each other, then that care can be the common ground. You know, but I'm afraid we have we repeat too much these things, because Krishnamurti used to say, let's walk together, let's look together, and then we just say what he said, and I don't think that's a good idea.
But
you
how
know
would we even know that what Krishna ji is saying is just being repeated? Firstly, we are saying that for me, if you ask me, a common ground of exploration cannot be done by individuals.
But let me just answer you the first question. How can we know? See, there is we cannot really know by with the mind, but the person who has some clarity. There is one thing which is Krishnamurti. He talks a lot about authority, right? No authority in the psychological field. But there is one authority that is natural. It's not imposed by the mind. It's not created by the mind. So when Krishnamurti talks about authority, to me, he's talking about the authority created by the mind. You know, because I respect you because you have a big name, because somebody
Yeah.
told me that you are this, that, the other, or because you I want something from you. So that authority is created by the mind. But there is a natural authority. For instance, a mother and a child. The child look up to the mother as an authority. It's natural, right? It does not mean that the mother has to be authoritarian. There is a difference between authority and the natural one and authoritarianism. You know, this again created by the mind. So the child, for the child, because the child knows that the mother has more experience and will help her to understand the things around her. So there is a natural authority. So when we are in a group and we are trying to explore and somebody has clarity, that clarity becomes authority. When we listen to Krishnamurti, we know he has clarity. And when he will come into the room, when he was walking around giving lectures, he will come and everybody will be silent, because that authority, that is natural. It comes from clarity. It doesn't come from imposition. He will not impose his authority. But why do we listen to him? Because we know he has clarity. So
Yes.
to just deny authority because Krishnamurti is saying, I think it's a very dangerous thing. We have to understand what he's talking about, and we have to understand that there is natural. It is the same thing he used to say. Discipline has its own authority. Freedom has his own authority. It's not that it will be nothing at all. All these things, love has its own authority. There is authority, but it's not the one created by the mind, which is created by clarity. It's created by the real thing.
So, Clemis, if I am listening to you, I am listening the voice, I'm listening the sound of your voice. I'm listening to there's a listening happening without my mind wanting to decipher the words and its meanings and its statement. And there's a whole attentiveness towards what is being told and the whole of my being around. In that, there is absolute clear listening and nothing else, where my mind is not making even any effort to listen. That listening is not done by the mind, but as awareness would set in there, I would say. So does that need any authority?
That itself is the authority.
Yes. So if there is a listening going on between two people like that, does that need any, isn't that a common ground? Can that common ground not be achieved?
Yeah, that will be a common ground, but that will happen naturally. You cannot impose it on people.
Of course, we cannot
So
impose.
when we start the conversation, say let's reach a common ground, that already becomes unnatural. You know, that already is something that the mind wants to achieve, and it won't happen.
Of course, the
So
mind, whatever the mind wants to achieve, is it won't work. Of course, we know that, but it is quite. There is a possibility of exploration without an authority of a mind, the mind's authority created by the mind, but a organic presence of an authority, which is not of an individual,
yeah,
which could create a common ground of exploration.
yeah. So the individual. Suppose there is one person who has clarity, and it's not the authority of that person, it is the authority of that clarity.
Yes.
Mm. And
And
tomorrow that person may not be clear at all, and another person may be more clear. Then so it's always the authority of the clarity. It's not about the person.
so
But
I don't think it is even a authority of an individual, whether it's clarity or not. If there is complete attentiveness of the people or the people in conversation, can exploration happen there without the
yeah,
individuals?
yeah. But the problem is sometimes people are not in that state of complete attention.
Yes, of course, I agree to that. People are not able to be in that state of awareness.
Yeah, sometimes we just our mind is chattering so much, it
Yes,
jumps from one thing to another, that we
yes,
miss half of what the person is
yes.
saying.
Totally, totally. Quite so. Quite so.
And one thing I want to ask about authority for whom? Like we say that outerward we need authority, like a policeman standing on the road, traffic policeman. There is a role of authority. But when I am going to learn about myself or my living, who is seeking this authority?
No, I don't understand your question. Who is? I am not saying that somebody has to seek the authority. I'm saying that naturally it will come.
Like
It's
mother,
an organic thing. It's organic. It's natural. It's not about seeking. It's not about somebody imposing, or you think it has to be there. It's not anything of that kind. But naturally it happens. For instance, people will sit very quietly in front of Krishnamurti and listen to him. Naturally, he never imposed his authority on anybody that I know of.
but people do listen them, but that is the way of listening anyone.
I don't know about that. I
If
don't know about that.
if one is going to listen a leader, then one keep
Yeah,
quiet.
but that leader has an authority imposed by the mind, And if you don't keep quiet, somebody will come and take you out of that place saying, "Shush, you are creating disturbance, and people cannot listen to him properly." So that's a different thing altogether.
Mm. I'm just understanding, trying to understand that what is the actual meaning of you authority.
No, I am saying this because many people, when they listen to Krishnamurti saying no authority, there is this idea of complete anarchy, you
Anarchy,
know?
yes. Mm.
Yeah, each one does what they please and nobody cares about anything. That's not
Yes.
what he's saying at all. There is a natural authority that happens, that is there, and because there is order. You see, Krishnamurti, he used to say, order has its own authority.
Mm.
It
Order
brings
is
it brings responsibility. It brings so many things that are not imposed. They become natural. When there is order in one's mind, that person becomes much more disciplined than somebody who is living with imposed discipline.
so you are saying that authority is not imposed, but organically is there to
It's
guide.
there everywhere. Yeah.
So it's not authority because authority means something else. That
No,
you
it
are
is
bound to do that.
no, no. And you are. It is authority.
If you are bound to
The
do that,
authority, for instance, the authority of clarity. If you see a person who has clarity, if you look at Ramana Maharshi, if you look at Krishnamurti, if you look at these people, they are not ready to compromise.
yes, they are not ready to compromise. Yeah, it's true.
That's an authority because clarity has its own authority.
Mm,
So it's not, you see, we have many ideas about these things. That's not how it is.
mm. So we
Because
cannot
we
say
have
that. Yes.
we have no order in ourselves, so we compromise here, we compromise there, and we go on settling things like that. The person who has clarity eh, is not ready to compromise, and that's inner authority, because it comes from within.
So, what is difference between a person who is not compromising with his stupidity?
That's a good question. It is only the person who is stupid that can know how painful it is to be stupid, and the person who has clarity know how painless it is.
Like the leaders in so-called religious leaders, political leaders, they are very much clear about what they are thinking, what their concepts are. They are
Yeah,
not
but
compromising. That
that
because
that
of that, orthodox religion is there. They can die for that.
I know, and the person who is clear will also die.
Yeah.
Krishnamurti was ready to die when he
So
when
yeah.
he when he dismantled the order of the star, and he was not ready to compromise. And
Is there any difference between both of them?
of course there is a difference. The difference is where this comes from.
Is it coming from thought or it is coming from uh, be, some
Yeah, we
insight?
know where we know that the person who has clarity doesn't come from the thinking process. So what I want to say with all this is that we should not be so quick in concluding things.
Yes. Concluding is the problem. Even,
That's really the problem.
yes, even concluding this, that concluding is the problem, is also another kind of concluding. So one has to be very, very open
Very open all the time.
all the time. And it is the conclusion makes our mind dull. If we don't have any conclusion, we are open to learn, open to listen, then we might say that that thing in quotes called truth is pathless land. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, Clemis, and thank you, Suromita.
Thank you.
This is a wonderful session,
Thank
and
you.
we will, you come again to Tiruvannamalai. We will meet and we will again do some exploration together. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.